There are styles that feel like anime, there are styles that feel like cartoons, and there are styles that feel like a blend of both. By the end of this video, hopefully you'll have an understanding of the specific traits that make an art style lean in either direction. Let's start with an exercise. What does a cartoon hand look like? What does a cartoon arm look like? If you're like me, you thought of hands with 4 fingers and arms that bend like noodles. If I ask what an anime hand or arm looks like, you probably can't come up with a clear answer. But if I ask what anime eyes and hair looked like, you could. That's because of the core difference between cartoon and anime style. In art, abstract means changing something from the way it was in reality. Cartoon styles abstract everything from head to toe. Heads and bodies can be exaggerated and simplified. It wouldn't be uncommon for characters to have wildly different body types. The Parr family from The Incredibles is a perfect example. Everyone's proportions are different to communicate things about the characters through shapes and sizes. This allows them to apply shape language a lot more than anime. Even cartoon styles that lean more towards realism can dramatically alter the body. Look at Justice League Unlimited, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, or most superhero cartoons. The men have insanely wide shoulders and chests and thick necks. Meanwhile, anime styles only abstract the head in general. I really started to notice this in my art style analysis videos, but stories like Naruto and Bleach didn't abstract the bodies and were generally realistic. Bleach's bodies were slightly longer and lanky, but nothing unrealistic. Naruto's bodies were slightly shorter at 6 heads tall, when the average is 7.5, but again, nothing unrealistic. Most of the abstraction is in the head, but it goes deeper. On top of that, every male body is the same and every female body is the same. This goes for a large majority of anime, even ones that do abstract the body a little. Check out Soul Eater or Code Geass. The proportions are abstracted a little, but all of the characters have that uniform anatomy. Cartoons don't just abstract the head, they also simplify it. By this, I mean they reduce features like eyes into simple shapes that only take a few strokes to draw. It can range from dot eyes to a black circle and a white circle. But they don't just abstract the eyes, they abstract the nose, mouth, head shape, hair, everything. The so-called Cal art style has a bean-shaped head and circles for the eyes. But what about more realistic styles? Look at Earth's Mightiest Heroes or Justice League, or even older cartoons like X-Men or the 90s Spider-Man. The eyes, nose, mouth, and jaw all look like simplified versions of a real face. In comparison, the anime style has 3 primary targets for abstraction: the eyes, hair, and jaw. Unlike cartoons, these abstractions aren't super simplification like kids' cartoons, or moderate simplifications like superhero cartoons. They are stylized abstractions. The artist is intentionally making them unrealistic, but they're still as detailed as their real counterparts. It's like an expression of the artist's style. Many anime are iconic through the style of their eyes alone. Anime eyes usually have a rhombus or oval shape, with an eyeball that has a sclera, iris, pupil, and highlight. The hair is spiky and the jaw is pointy, but all 3 are closer to realism than their cartoon counterparts. The noses and mouths are simplified, but there are 3 common types of nose simplifications that are unique to anime. There's the line, which is just a vertical line representing the bridge of the nose. A lot of moe and isekai anime have this. Examples are Toradora and SAO. There's the triangle, which is a line plus a cast shadow. Examples are early Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, and Raildex. And finally, there's the carrots, which are nostrils represented by 2 carrots. Examples are Naruto, late Bleach, and late One Piece. These aren't common in cartoon styles, so when a cartoon uses it, it feels like anime seasoning. Here's a brief recap before I cover style blending. Cartoon styles abstract the whole anatomy from head to toe. Anime styles only abstract the head. Cartoon styles aimed at kids usually abstract by super simplifying things into easy to draw shapes, while cartoons with a more adult style simplify by reducing the complexity just a little while maintaining realism. Anime styles stylize the eyes, hair, and jaw while maintaining high complexity, but they simplify the nose and the mouth. There are signature nose simplifications popular in the anime style. That brings us to style bending. There are cartoon styles that feel kinda like anime, and anime styles that feel kinda like cartoons. This can be explained using the patterns. Dragon Ball looks very cartoony to me. Take a look at Kid Goku. Characters like him, Krillin, and Roshi are unrealistically short with big heads. The body is abstracted. And then Goku's eyes are basically a black circle inside a white circle, like a cartoon. It's easy to draw. The only thing that's giving it an anime feel is the broken line of the outline. The round shape of the nose and the circular head are also cartoony. But then in DBZ, the realism starts to come back, making the style feel more like an anime. Goku's jaw is triangular, and his eyes have the anime half-oval style. His nose is also similar to the anime triangle. His body is mostly normal sized and realistic. One Piece is another example. Sticking with just Luffy, the way his eyes are easy to draw makes them feel like both styles. It takes 3 strokes to draw his eyes, and they are pure black, leaning towards cartoons, but the broken lines and the less circular shape of the outline lean towards anime. His jaw, mouth, nose, and hair are all anime though. Then, looking at the early style, the noodly arms and the big hands were anatomical abstractions, which feels like cartoons. And even now, the bodies are still abstracted more than the average anime. The average female has a literal hourglass figure, and the average male has a rectangle for a torso. Furthermore, there are a noticeable amount of characters with anatomies unique to them, like Garp, Moria, Akainu, Blackbeard, Big Mom, and more. All of these anatomical abstractions provide a more cartoony feel. My last example will be panty and stocking. I personally never confuse this for a cartoon like others have said, but it does have cartoony elements. The arms, hands, legs, and feet are all simplified like a cartoon, but the eyes and the hair don't let you forget that it's anime. For cartoons that look like anime, I'll start with Teen Titans. The hair looks like anime. The eyes look like anime. Some of the jawlines look like anime. The standard body proportions that are slightly abstracted looks like anime. The reasons this doesn't feel like a true anime style to me are very subtle. First, there's no consistent eye style for the main 5. 3 of the 5 have the broken lines, but all 5 of them have their own eyes drawn in their own way. The different noses and the different jawlines are also subtle giveaways. It's rare that an anime style gives each character their own jawline or nose, especially for the main cast. The girls have the same nose and jaw, but the guys each have their own. Then there's the simplification of the faces. This may sound strange, but bear with me. For a character that is between 6 and 8 heads tall in an anime, the faces look more detailed from up close compared to from a distance. Check this out. If you look at Ichigo's character sheet in Thousand Year Blood War, in his full body pic, you can't see his face clearly, but in the close-ups you can. You can do the same thing for Yuji from JJK. His face is more detailed in close-ups compared to full bodies. In cartoons, that is usually not the case. The faces are just as clear in full body as in close-up, even if the character is at least 6 heads tall. I'll call this the distance test. There's also his height in heads. 6 can look normal, but 7.5 is the most realistic standard. Robin is 5 heads tall. This unrealistic height in heads is more cartoon than anime. He's about 5'4", which is short, but that's not an excuse because part 1 Naruto was 4'7", even shorter, yet he was 6 heads tall. These little details stack up to make it look like a blend of anime and cartoon rather than just anime. My next example is Avatar. When just looking at the faces close up, everything feels like an anime. But then when you back up to the full body, it fails the distance test. The details in the face are too clear. Both Aang and Katara are above 5 feet tall, yet they barely stand above 5 heads tall. Despite the consistent eye styles, the different head shapes are another clue. The hair also isn't crazy or spiky. Not all anime do this, but it is a major indicator, so the lack of it is a clue. This feels more anime than Teen Titans, but still a cartoon. My last example is Young Justice. The realism and uniformity of the body anatomy is more anime. The rhombus eye outlines with a space inside and the detailed eyeballs are very anime, but the hair isn't that spiky and the jawlines lean more towards realism, which is cartoony. It also kind of fails the distance test. For height, Robin is probably 5 feet, yet he's 6 heads tall, which is more realistic than other cartoons. But then Aqualad, who's between 5'9" and 6 feet, is 7 heads tall. The average is 7.5, yet someone above average is only 7 heads tall. For reference, by the end, Luffy, Naruto, and Ichigo are all about 8 heads tall. They're between 5'5" and 5'8". In conclusion, there are actual patterns that make cartoon and anime art styles feel the way they do. Cartoons abstract the whole body and either super simplify or moderately simplify. Anime only abstract the head and stylize the eyes, hair, and jaw rather than simplifying them. This can help you in your art analysis or art style creation.